Hey, everybody. My name is Erik Bohlin. I'm a professional therapist, and we're going to talk about ways to help digestion, actually, by not trying to help it. Those that don't struggle with digestion hardly ever think about it. They eat, they eliminate, they just do whatever they do, and they don't even think about it. But we're human beings, and most likely we have thought about digestion or elimination from time to time, especially as small children. We think about, I don't want to eat that, or that doesn't look right. I have grandchildren. It's fun to see them look at the food. So, like, there's a raisin in the scone. I remember my son, we made scones, and they never had a raisin. And we were in Canada, a lovely country, at this nice tea shop. Oh, scones. And it came with raisins. He looked at it and says, it doesn't look right. Well, from his point of view, they could have been flies. The lady was so gracious to bring a cheese scone, and I'm not sure he ate that either. So there's something that we're born with. Maybe it's because food seems to be really important in terms of life preserving life. And then elimination, same thing. If we start to think about, I don't know if I want to do my business there, it looks too dirty, it looks too germy, there's people waiting outside. How can one relax? I'm keeping people, and the people that don't really seem to think too much seem to be fine. They can eat almost anything, go anywhere, and do what they have to do. And it's just not a lot of thought. So praise be to God for those people. Those of us that struggle, we're going to talk about how to relax some. So, and it's not all inclusive. I realized in another video I made this morning that giving too much information is part of the problem. We have too much information regarding our digestion. Like, I'm drinking a little soda that is prebiotics. Like, what's a prebiotic? My grandmother would say, well, grandma, as if she were living, but it's these bacteria that are helping keep us happy in our gut. What's that about? It's like, yeah, so were they better off? They didn't think about it. Where now we know that yogurt and fermented foods are good for us. They just ate the pickle because that was a way to preserve things. So I think information's useful, but we just got to be careful that it doesn't use us. So for those wondering, why am I chewing what I drink? Because I have little jellies in them, which I got. I'm a fan of boba tea and things like that. So what I would say is principle number one, you don't try to fix your digestion. Try not to think about it. Like, if I say try not to think of a pink elephant, you might think of that, or try not to think of raspberry jam, and try not to think of the little seeds that might get stuck between your teeth. Just by trying not to, now you think about it. So I'm using that language, but that is going to be the goal, to move on to other things, to not be obsessed about it. If one's been in pain or discomfort, even just plain old anxiety, you can't help but think about it. It just, that's the way it works, is that anxiety is kind of a like alarm system that goes off. So if we get pain in our gut, if we get gas in our gut, if we just can't help but think, well, I hope this food that I'm going to eat isn't going to trigger that. So then we start to clamp down, or worse, if we get constipation. Like, there are people that struggle with that, to where if they think about it a lot, which might be kind of the cause, the more they get constipated. They can't help it. It just get caught in a loop. I see it as kind of a loop, a little cycle. And what we want to do is help the person kind of move away from it. Just gently, let's come over here. It's kind of like a scared child in a forest. It's dark. The branches look like claws. Good, just to reach out. Like, no, let's just go over here. But, yeah, let's just go over here. It's going to work out. Let's just get out here. I work with people in addiction. It's like, no, let's just go over here. But, yeah, it's the analyze the trees and what are those things and try to figure it out will get us more caught in that. Let's just move towards the light. So moving towards good digestion involves to try not to interfere with it in any way. I mentioned in other videos that the more this dear family tried to help the boy use the bathroom, the more it became an issue. I said, don't even think about it. But I said, I get that. It could be serious. Just we don't think about it. We just move ahead. For those that have a spiritual practice that are Christians or other spiritual practice, just letting go, which we'll talk about letting go later in the video. But moving on. Actually, there is a Bible verse that talks about do not worry what you will eat. I, as a kid, thought about that as well, like not having enough food. But today's culture, people might say, well, it's gluten-free, or is this too much sugar? Does this have this and this? And I've been one of them. I mean, I thought, oh, this has too much sugar. It's going to give me a this or a that. It's just going to grow the bacteria to cause more gas and all that. And it's like, what am I going to do at this party? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? I ate the cookie out of politeness and didn't have a problem. So, so I just got a text message from someone. Yeah, interesting. So I'll start now. So we don't try to fix our digestion. We just try to move towards good principles to live by. And this is very similar to anxiety. The more we try to think about it, the worse it gets. So let's talk about non-effort. Non-effort helps you not interfere with it. So efforting is ever so subtle. We mentioned Edmund Jacobson before. He talked about muscle relaxation, something called progressive muscle relaxation. And in the 1920s and 30s, he found that even just little wires hooked up to one's jaw. He worked with Bell Telephone Laboratory, and did one of the first electromyograph and noticed there was muscle tension even when a person did not speak. When asked the question, how old are you? Just that conversation of wanting to say that the muscles fired not microscopically, very small amounts of tension. So he said that we have tension. So to relax, if I say just relax your muscles here, just relax. Well, just doing it seems to be an effort. So he would then teach someone to raise their hand and then let go of raising it. And the not raising of the hand was the non effort. I think it's a marvelous principle, non effort. Like if I say I'm going to relax now, okay, I'm going to relax my hand. That's different than just non effort. So when I do this on a grander scale, this is actually kind of fun. It's kind of an exercise to do when one's really, really anxious. I say, okay, raise your hand. Now drop it without any effort. And there's a certain wave of relaxation that happens. So that non-effort was to teach us that state of non-effort. I think biblically speaking, for those that have that, it's kind of like stop striving, stop moving. It says, be still and know that I am God. To enter the rest. In Hebrews, it talks about entering the Sabbath rest, which is bigger than just on Sunday. Are we even good at resting one day out of the week? So non-effort. Now, there's times for effort. I'm not saying we should be lazy, but digestion, like we're designed this way. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go digest my food. Okay. The doing of this is what causes the issue. That's kind of the challenge. So when it comes to digestion, those times when we didn't even think about it, we ate the sandwich, we ate the ice cream, we ate whatever we ate, and maybe we ran to the store. We didn't have any problems. But today, with our fast paced, throw the sandwich down without chewing, run to the store and pick out tools at the hardware store, we could actually be needing time to digest our food. And maybe there were rituals where mom and dad, we sat down and we waited till the conversation was done. And then may I be excused for we didn't have that in my family, but I did feel it during Thanksgiving with my grandparents. And maybe there was something important about that. There was something about resting and digesting. So non-effort would look at not looking at the internet, not learning any more information, not thinking about any more digestive enzymes, not thinking about the food, what kind of food it is, how many fat grams it has. And I'm not saying a mindfulness about that is a good idea. Certainly. I like the idea of fasting. Observing the fast means to observe it and to be aware of that. But I think there's a way to do it. Because, for instance, if I had something that might have been a higher fat meal, I'm not saying it's always good to eat that, but my thinking about it would give me indigestion. I think I could feel something in my gut and gallbladder to break down the fat. I mean, we just have so much information. That's part of it. I know that green tea study found that it helped you break down fat. Then they wondered, is it the green tea or is it the warmth of the green tea? Science is great, but we can be overdoing this. And I've noticed that a few times when I'm eating and it was appropriate and I had something of a higher fat, like a fish, that was fish and chips, didn't feel the gut ache at all. So I've been on both sides. So in and of itself, thinking too much is really a problem. Let's use the word observing. Just observing what we eat and giving ourselves gentle feedback about this could be a useful thing. Okay. Triggers the brain to be nervous. So, what are the triggers that cause the brain to be nervous? Well, we hinted at them, like thinking about it, thinking about this food. I need to have this kind of food, this kind of setting. If I'm driving in the car, oh no, will this be difficult? Occasionally. So observing things is to kind of go, well, maybe it's good for me to have a 2 hour, like I mentioned, a 2 hour break for lunch. Is it a good idea to be able to skip breakfast occasionally? I think in a general rule, yes. But if I'm doing it to achieve something and over focused on it, hyper vigilant, then it's probably going to cause some other issues. How many of us have fasted, and the moment we say, okay, begin now, we all of a sudden over focus on it. And then it's like it becomes a thing where there's days we're so busy we forgot to eat in the morning, we're just fine. Okay. Our thinking incessantly affects our lives. And if we could just think less to be thoughtless, uh, might be a good thing. So, foods could be triggers, times of days. If one didn't get their supplements, triggers of conversation that are too difficult, too painful, things that would promote grief or anxiety would be a problem. So we want to have happy thoughts. Yeah. So food choices we talked about. Thinking about it, I hope it'll be okay. That's thinking about it. What if? What if? I could do a whole video on what if. Do we really need to go into the future? Do we need to consider, well, if this happens and that happens, or how will that turn out? Just asking those questions can affect it. I counter that with maybe, perhaps, eating this much sugar was bad for me. I believe that. I'm not trying to. I was sugar free for like 2 or 3 years, probably 2 years. I didn't have like anything. Everything tasted sweet. I actually felt much better. Then, if one thought about having sugar, could they get a gut ache? There's a certain sense, yes. Maybe that was good for me. But I found that how much of that was a mind body experience, and it would cause more problems than it was worth. So, the what if catastrophically, it's good to notice what the thoughts are, just to notice, and then to realize, wow, I need to ignore these. Like, what if I get stomach indigestion, a full gut or a gas experience that I now have to go through the whole wedding? Oh, that'd be a good example. I've been in weddings. Oh no, what if I eat and then I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the wedding and I will be uncomfortable, and it goes on and on and on. Where in the old days, I just didn't, or prior days, not the old days, just I never thought about it. If I had pain in my back, I often didn't get gut issues because it's where my focus was. It's if my focus is on God, it all works out well. If I focus on the problem or the potential problems, it seems to increase it. It's just my experience. So if the phrase begins with what if, and if I put a long blank there, it's because it's a long story. It's something that adds to this. What if this and what if that? And I pretty much have myself in a bad place if I let myself go there. So I just don't let myself go there. Ignoring the thoughts is a really good idea. Ignoring um, those things there. Acceptance Acceptance is important. Acceptance is more than just something you don't do. It's something you stop doing. You stop trying to figure things out. Um, you stop fighting it. It's I'm going to accept now. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like you stop, just give up. Surrender feels like it, but it's slightly different. Um, you're not trying to make an outcome go a certain way. Acceptance that the water damage happened, it is what it is. Or we're not going to make it to the airport, or maybe we will. I don't know. We'll just drive when we get there and we'll see how it works. If I have an accident bodily, it's like, physiologically because of elimination, it is what it is. I'm not going to try to make myself not whatever. It's letting go could be trying to do something. Okay, I'll let go and just let God. Okay, but that still could be doing something. So acceptance is a sense of rest. It's a sense of peace. It's a sense of whatever. Whatever is a nice, useful phrase. Whatever your will is, whatever. It involves faith and trust. It's kind of like I'm just going to trust God. It's going to all work out. It's going to be fine. It's that feeling of a loving parent, a father or mother, say it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And we trusted them if they were trustworthy parents. And it's like our whole nervous system calms down. And I think we need to find that in God first. But I also think there's people in our life that are very calming that will just help us feel better. And I noticed this when I'd be around people that were very calming to my nervous system. They call this polyvagal theory, which is psychotherapy talk, but my digestion was fine. I just felt better. I just felt relaxed. I felt at peace. I didn't even have to worry about it. There's a certain sense I'm not thinking at all about any of this. I'm just at peace. So I want to leave you with peace. um, Peace with your digestion, hoping that everything will turn out well. You take care and have a great day.